Candy was Gypsy's most provocative mask. She was her slutty side. She was pure shock value.
Candy, known for being sexually explicit or a vixen, revealed in the Hulu TV series The Act, based on real events of the Gypsy Rose Blanchard story. Candy is the slutty side of Gypsy, as Nicholas once said in an interview for Oxygen. It's been said by web sleuths that the provocative images and texts sent to Mia and Rod when Mia was just 10 years old, according to Christie, was that of Candy, the persona she was sending to them. Candy is a generic pastel-colored anime idol with bunny ears and text labels, aka Slutty Side. Candy is a fan-made edit on an online website known as Blingy and has no ties to recognized anime or game characters or even any real-life inspiration linking to a fictional character. Because of this, Candy has no backstory other than she used this persona, allegedly, to send explicit photos and texts to Rod and Mia and blamed it on her neighbor, Aaliyah. However, in the prison email FOIA, Gypsy was still attempting to roleplay Candy. Take a look at page 271, outbound email from Gypsy on 7/26/2020. Gypsy says, "Hello, how are you? Hope that you are ready to have a little fun with Miss Candy. Smiley face. So what are you wearing? Well, can I get your number? Because I'm single and looking for a new guy. Saw your name and I'm like, hey, what's up?" Page 922, outbound email from Gypsy on 7/22/2021. Again, but while she calls herself Candy to this person, she's describing Ruby and Harley Quinn personas, which kind of is confusing to me. But let me know what y'all think of that in the comments. Maybe I'm going to send you on a mission ASAP. I'm going to show you my roomie fly ass pics. Want a picture of me as Candy? The ones took where was wearing a black leather jacket and a red wig, and the baby got black pic and the Harley Quinn pics. Rose was the mature form of Gypsy. She's thoughtful and composed. Bella was the hopeless romantic. She was the fantasy bride longing for forever love. So due to a lot of the socials being shut down during the investigation, I believe it was really difficult to figure out what all of her personas looked like, though I'm sure with the right FOIA request, that discovery could be given. However, due to the listed personas, Rose is who Nick referred to as the mature form of Gypsy, and Bella is one most people do not know about and is the romantic part of Gypsy. In the prison emails, there were many communications with various people asking who her favorite Disney character was, and she stated each time Belle was her favorite Disney princess. Also, that in the TV series Once Upon a Time, Belle and Rumpelstiltskin were her favorite couple, but she also had a quirky obsession with Bella from Twilight. So it's really hard to say where these two personas could have been inspired from, but I do believe out of the recovered photos, one in the blue outfit might be Rose, and the one in the fashion wear on her headband may be Bella. There's also pictures of her wearing that fashion headband while in a dress that resembles Belle. There is little information on these two personas that are out there, and nothing referenced in the FOIAs that we have so far, or the prison emails that I could find. But I do believe these two personas were more of an online persona for Gypsy with Nick. She created the Emma Rose and Nicholas Bella Godejohn profiles. And let's not forget that Bella Godejohn was the name she used at the Greyhound bus station for her bus ticket to Wisconsin.
Kitty, known as Daddy's Girl. Kitty was the child, a persona that flirted with taboo, playing up innocence and submission to men she called daddy, including her own father. Kitty, known as Little Girl or Daddy's Girl the Gypsy, is another persona the Gypsy created. Again, there isn't a whole lot of detail I could find on this in regard to her being in character with Nick. However, what I did find is deeply disturbing. Linked to her Nicholas Bella Godejohn Facebook profile, I believe she admined for a group called DGLG Safe Playground. Stands for Daddy's Daughters Little Girls Safe Playground. And it was a group created for BDSM and men who liked calling their partners daughters, little girls, and like that they were calling him daddy. Now, I reported what I could. The original one that she was in was already removed. It was shut down for child trafficking, which is very suspicious as well. For her. It's very suspicious for her, considering she was willing to offer up her 13-year-old future daughter to be taken advantage of unwillingly. And the things that were in there were very disturbing, but whoever was in that group was trying to defend it. That's pretty much the extent of that. She was being tagged in something called FetLife.com in 2009 by Dan's friends on Facebook. Interesting. And these people also were on Vision Con, and part of the BDSM lifestyle with David Blanchard going to BDSM nightclubs and doing BDSM stuff, having those parties and such. If you haven't seen that, if you know nothing about it, watch Exposing the Blanchards Part 3. It has in-depth research, nothing but receipts galore in there. So there are several trigger warnings put in place for that video, so you will be able to skip over the disturbing parts. However, I think the prison emails give us a little more context, as Gypsy was still role-playing. So per the prison emails, Gypsy was still role-playing Kitty. There were many references to Kitty quoting, "Your reward is my kitty," which we all know is in reference to her disgusting, probably deformed lady part at this point. But an email about role-playing came up with Kitty's name on it, so I did a search and there was multiple different emails in reference to Kitty. So let's go over those really quick. Page 837, there was an inbound and an outbound email on the same day, 3/1/2021. One came into Gypsy and one was out from Gypsy. They both are terrible at grammar. They cannot type to save their lives. Inbound email. "It is always a pleasure to talk to you. I am glad that you feel comfortable talking to me and that you're opening your heart. I'm waiting for all 5 emails to arrive and will reply to you. Sorry I called you little kitty. I think you didn't like it. It was for break the ice. When you smile, it warms my heart. I would hold you tight to me. I like little kisses. By the phone. It's very sweet. Hope I haven't been too brazen about the woman question." I'm beginning to wonder if this is actually a woman emailing her, when you're about to find out. "As I've already told you, you can talk to me about everything. We'll never judge you. On the contrary, we'll always be understanding, and I will try to give you the best possible advice. And if something I say bothers you, don't bother to tell me, okay? Please. Hope you will send me the photos on," I feel like that says Facebook, but I can't tell. "Soon," said he wrote to him, gave her his number since. Or maybe that's in reference to a bee. I can't really see it. It's really small. So outbound email from Gypsy. "I don't mind being called little kitty. Smiley face emoji. Assume you now know what a kitten play fetish is. LOL. You wasn't overstepping by asking me about my bi-curious nature. Do not have any female crushes. Smiley face emoji." And that's kind of why I think this is a woman she's interacting with. Is this the one that maybe she was scamming for $50 a week? Page 848. Outbound email from Gypsy. "I have Wi-Fi again, smiley face. If I was to keep talking, we would have been too hot for our own good. I'm going to take a cold shower and may need a relief of some kind. Want you right now. I can desire you all I want, but unless you're single, it won't do any more than talk and kiss you. I'm so what does that ever stop her?" This is gross. I'm sorry, guys. "I'm sorry for the email sent. Was feeling a certain way when wrote it. I need to be a good person. You are right. You are engaged. You don't belong to me. Can't have you. When I hear your voice and read your emails, it's like forget that for a while. And all I can see is us and what we have." Wow. So she's talking to somebody who's engaged and don't want you to cheat. That's not a good example you would be setting. How does that old saying go? If he can do it to her, he can do it to you. We both just need some relief and hope you can understand what I mean by relief. Maybe you need a shower too. Wink. LOL. Guess you attract lots of little kitties. There is a place called the Chateau. It's a mansion for girls with that fetish. They can be their kitten self for the entire stay. She is disgusting. Want to visit it someday. Oh, I'm sure you do, you little nasty. Something tells me you wouldn't mind 2 cats fighting for your attention. LOL. Want a real collar with diamonds. Smiley face. My character is a black cat, white tip tail. Would love to have you pet me and brush my hair. You know, this makes me wonder what she did to her actual cats before she unalived her mother and then released them to the wild to take care of themselves while she took off. At this rate, I'm inclined to believe she's into bestiality. And then this is one of the inbound emails where someone is referencing Gypsy as a kitty. Page 845, inbound 5/21/2021 to Gypsy. Sweetie, you have no idea how I would like to stay close to you right now. Would stay in the bed with you, hold you in my arms or hold to my arms and give you little kisses until fever passes. Don't worry, everything will be alright, I'm totally sure. Your body is reacting and creating antibodies, so it's a normal collateral effect, even for headache, nausea, and muscular pain. Call me whenever you want, you're my little kitty. Blah. Yeah, I'm not saying that again. Okay, page 858. It's Gypsy to them, dear, I'm asymptomatic. She's weird. Anyways, and then the person replying, Gypsy, how do you feel? I would like to hug you tightly. Hope to hear you soon. And then another one coming into Gypsy, page 855, no pun intended by the way, on 8/16/2021. Hi, my little kitty. I really like your chest too. LOL. Yes, don't prefer compliments, but I'm glad you don't have limits with me. Feel free to tell me everything you want. Smiley face. I'm waiting for your call of Wednesday at 11. Let it something. These people do not know how to type for nothing. One discovery is a lot of the people that were writing her, and she was somehow calling internationally, were sending her money. They weren't even in the USA. And here's an example of that. Page 858, inbound email to Gypsy, 7/21/2021. Yes, you are my little kitty. It takes a few days to renew the passport, so don't worry about this. As I told you, the problem is staying in the hotel. Can't force Vencio to spend money like this. I'm sorry, I can barely read these because the print is so small. I will find a solution, I promise you. I miss you.
The catalyst. Ruby was the chaos, the one who broke the rules. A succubus in spirit, seductive, wild, and violent. Ruby is an alter ego crafted by Gypsy Rose Blanchard in the weeks leading up to the unaliving of her mother, Claudine Blanchard. She was not just a fictional character. Ruby was Gypsy's evil side, a violent predator, and a seductive force of chaos. Her creation was strategic and symbolic. Ruby was the counterpart to Nicholas Godejohn's vampire persona, Victor, and together they enacted a dark fantasy built on domination, crime, and fatal obsession. According to FOIA obtained communications, Gypsy first introduced Ruby to Nicholas just weeks before the crime. In a disturbing video sent to Go to John, Gypsy, in character as Ruby, looks directly into the camera and asks him if he's a psychopath, declaring, "If you are, then we're a perfect match." She calls herself a psychopath, openly embracing the role of a rule breaker and deviant. Ruby explains that she violates the rules, creates mayhem, breaks the law, and that she and Victor will go on a crime spree, robbing, stealing, and committing violence together. Ruby wasn't the vampire. She wasn't in control, but she was the match that lit the fire, the one who whispered to Victor how far he could go. She may have called him master, but she wrote the script he followed. Nicholas's alter ego Victor was a 500-year-old vampire created specifically for Gypsy. He was dominant, cold, and deadly, the one who could carry out the violence Ruby provoked. Their dynamic echoed gothic fantasy and BDSM roleplay, with Victor positioned as the master, and Ruby, though wild and sadistic, played the submissive role by choice. In my opinion, Gypsy used some messages as if Ruby appeared to willingly submit to Victor, using titles like Sir or Master to portray her innocence somehow, when all was said and done. Meanwhile, titles like Sir or Master, this wasn't weakness. It was part of a deliberate fantasy. She stirred the violence while surrendering the blade to him. If Ruby wasn't the killer, she became the reason to kill. During the stabbing, Nicholas claimed he shouted, "You won't keep Ruby and me apart." I'm not certain what inspired Ruby or who she even truly is in all of this, since she was introduced near the end of the plan, but I came across something interesting, so hear me out and let me know what you guys think in the comments. While Ruby was not a vampire, her design and behavior fit the mold of a modern-day succubus, a figure from ancient mythology described in Mythos anthology as a female demon who seduces, influences, and consumes through psychological and sexual domination. Ruby mimicked this template with a twist. She was emotionally provocative, seductive, and dangerous. She fed off Victor's darkness. She encouraged destruction while pretending to kneel and worship to it. Ruby let Victor believe he was ultimately the one in control of it all. Even while handing him the knife, she enabled Victor's brutality by promising loyalty, chaos, and love in return. But in conclusion, Ruby set the stage. She fed Victor the fantasy he needed to justify murder, framed their love in blood and fire, set him up and even framed him, and offered herself as his perfect match, so that she could see the plan all the way through. She played submissive, but every whisper was a nudge towards destruction. She called him master and handed him the motive. That's the end of the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Was it survival, fantasy, manipulation, or all of the above? Gypsy wears multiple masks, but there's only one person that's behind it. Guys, if you wish to see more from me in the future, hit that notification bell. You'll get a notification every time I drop a video or go live. Please like and subscribe. Maybe even share this video. I'll see you guys at the next one. Later.